Hello, this is Harry Hobson, President and CEO of Plymouth Harbor, and I'm here remotely, and I'll explain that in a moment, with Karen Novak. And Karen is our Administrator of Strategic Healthcare Initiatives here at Plymouth Harbor, and really our point person for all infection control. We wanted to give you an update on several things, primarily where we are today with COVID-19, and we'll give also an update regarding our wellness program, which, as you know, we've gone through phase one. We're in phase two currently, and I'll make a comment or two about the window project. So we are calling from our respective areas right now. My office, and Karen, you're in your office near the Callahan Center. And the reason we decided to do this today is you're quite busy.
Yes, I am busy testing for COVID. Today is our baseline that we're doing for AHCA, the Agency for Healthcare Administration. This is part of the emergency order that came out from Governor DeSantis to allow us to establish a baseline. And this is actually a great time to establish that baseline since our community numbers are so high. We expect to see that kind of reflected in some of the testing that we're going to be doing.
Right. I know it's very, very busy. Karen, why don't you give our residents and others an update where we are as of right now, Friday, July 3rd?
Sure, we actually have our three. Nothing really has changed much yet. We have one of our positives is actually coming in to be tested. Today's day 14, so we're hoping to turn that test around to a negative. The staff member is asymptomatic now, not having any problems whatsoever, but he does have a little bit of a case of "I want to get out of here" syndrome. I think he's well on his way to getting back to 100%. And the others, we're going to wait for those 14 days to finish up. They are still being isolated at home, and we will do the testing when it's time. If you remember, it takes two negatives at least 24 hours apart before we can allow those workers back in.
Karen, when you mentioned that the individual will be coming in for that test, you might explain the drive-through.
Yes, that when we know that we've got a positive, there's no way that we really want to bring somebody in because it's been shown that some people actually hang on to the virus a little bit longer than the 14 days. Therefore, if they're going to hang on to that virus, we want to make sure that it stays contained in an environment like a car rather than actually have that virus exposed to Plymouth Harbor.
Absolutely.
So we don all of our gear and go outside fully garbed and go to the window and we swab that staff member.
It's quite impressive, really, the steps that you go through to make sure everybody is as safe as they possibly can be.
Absolutely. Our priority is to keep our residents safe, but also to keep the staff safe. And that's why we wear that protective equipment to keep our nurses, our aides, and anybody who has contact with our residents or positive cases safe.
Right. Very good. Good. Karen, we talked earlier this week about the governor's order, and we're implementing that, as you know, of course, you know, wall to wall with our team members. We're going to be doing COVID testing every 2 weeks. The first group of testing, the wall to wall, I know those are due in next week on July 7th. Can you give us a progress report?
Sure, it's been very busy in my office and in the department. I actually have a coworker that has been working with me because it is so busy. She's been going to the departments and getting it done, and we are addressing the persons that actually come up to my office or they go to home care. I would say for day one, just out of the gate, we're about 50% done, and that's incredible progress. And it speaks well for the employees wanting to be here as well as the staff helping and getting it done.
You know, honestly, I would have projected as of right now we'd be probably somewhere closer to 40% complete. So I'm certainly impressed and pleased to hear that kind of response rate.
Tomorrow's the 4th of July, and you know what? We're going to be here doing that testing and aggregating, all that information into a data bank for us. So then that will be interpreted nationwide, and we'll see how Plymouth Harbor kind of compares to the rest of the nation, those
But
skilled and ALF facilities.
the good news is we won't be alone. We'll be joined by all the other retirement communities and nursing homes across the state of Florida this weekend.
Sure.
But it's very important, and we're having success. We want to keep that going, and again, that success based on the residents, your cooperation, the families understanding, and then the team members. You know, we've asked team members that when you're not here to try to stay as close to home as possible, and go out on a minimal basis. It's going to be a challenging weekend, 4th of July.
It will, you know, and it's so hard to really remember to wear your mask, especially when you're around family and friends. You know, you don't really think about family members as possibly having COVID because they're your family. But, you know, you just never know. That virus is non-select, and it can really affect or happen to anybody in your family. So even with, you know, when you're cooking up the hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill, please remember to wear that mask and keep that social distance. It's ever so important right now.
Absolutely. Anything else on COVID?
No, just be safe.
Okay. Well, let me give just a couple other updates here. I mentioned the wellness program. I spoke with Summer Wrench, director of our wellness programming, just a little while ago, and she's very pleased with phase 2. The residents are, she says, the word is gratitude, just expressing ongoing gratitude for opening it back up again, and residents getting back into some of their exercise regime. So very pleased with that. She did have a few things she wanted me to remind everybody, and that is that please make your reservations ahead of time. As far as taking walk-ins to reserve some of the spaces, that's not going to work out very well. So please do that. The resident portal on making some of those reservations using our website, that particular piece of software should be back up again within the next couple of days. So check back in on the resident portal. Regarding moving into phase 3, the group exercise. Originally, we had thought maybe we would be able to do that as early as July 13th, a couple of weeks out, but we're going to hold on that for right now. We're not comfortable bringing quite that many folks together. So we're going to hold off. We're going to take another look at it with a tentative date of August 3rd. So August 3rd, we'll look at it again, and hopefully we can bring our group exercise program back online. I think that was it from the exercise and wellness center. And then let me mention that the window project is progressing, no question about that. We are completely finished with the West Garden and the Energy Center. And for the last several days, they have been staging the East Garden. The contractors are moving over there, and that area is almost completely staged now. And the installation of East Garden will begin next week. And we'll be at that for about 6 weeks before we then move over to the North Garden. So things are going well with regard to that program. And Lisa is doing just a fabulous job coordinating that for George McGonigal and his team. So, and
Got to get those windows in time for hurricane season.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Karen, I don't think I have anything else on my agenda here to report.
Well, we want to wish you guys all a very happy 4th of July, but a safe and happy 4th of July. So please remember, keep that social distance. 6 foot. I know it's going to be really hard and challenging when you haven't seen somebody for a little bit of time. But right now, please take that time to maintain that 6 foot distance. We want to make sure that you're washing your hands appropriately and frequently. We also want to make sure that you hit those high contact areas. But most importantly, again, CDC has said this is a two-way success measure to reduce that risk of exposure by keeping you safe as well as keeping those around you safe. Real simple. Don, wear your masks, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karen. I know you need to get back to work on all of those tests you're doing right now. And it
Absolutely. I
really,
hear mine in my office.
I can hear them. And I can also tell you, I'm looking out my window, and we just made it because the crane is getting ready to pick up again. And that means there's going to be a lot of beeping as
Yes.
it's backing it up. So that really brings the end to this video. So it's time to wear our masks. Thank you.